What is within your control? Lessons from Stoicism. In modern life, we are often caught up in struggles with factors beyond our control. We worry about work, relationships, or even the weather. Many people spend their entire lives trying to change things they cannot. From others' behavior to external events such as the economy or global politics. But can we really control all these things? According to Stoic philosophy, the answer is no. The famous philosopher Epictetus, one of the founders of Stoicism, said, "In life, some things are within our control, but most are not. The only thing we can control is our own thoughts and actions." For Stoics, the focus is not on trying to control everything, but on clearly distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. But why is it so important to understand the limits of control? Because it helps us avoid unnecessary stress, creating mental freedom and inner peace. We will no longer be obsessed with things that are not ours to control, and instead, focus on what truly matters: how we think, act, and feel about life. The issue is not how much we can control, but what we should control. And this is the foundation for real peace and happiness. Welcome to the Stoic Lessons channel. In every video, we share the philosophies and lessons of Stoicism to apply in daily life, helping you face life's challenges with a positive and determined mindset. Stoicism is not just an ancient philosophical system but a way of life. A tool to help you achieve inner peace in a chaotic world. In this video, I want to challenge you. Listen to the end of the video and ask yourself, what is truly within my control? Listen carefully and see if you can change your perspective on difficult situations in life. The challenge here is not for you to find the answer immediately, but to begin asking questions and thinking about what you can change and what you should let go of. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm even in the most difficult situations? Their secret isn't that they know how everything will turn out, but that they know how to distinguish between what they can control and what they cannot. When you understand this, your life will become lighter, and you will find peace within yourself, no matter what happens. The truth is, most of the things we worry about, stress over, and try to control in life are beyond our reach. Think about what you've worried about in the past week. Maybe it was the success of a work project, a conversation with a loved one, or even your future health. We spend so much time worrying about things that, in the end, we cannot change. According to a Harvard University study, about 85% of the things people worry about never happen. And of the 15% of events that do occur, only a small portion have the negative impact we imagine. This shows that most of our worries are pointless. But why do we continue to worry? Humans often feel insecure when they lack control. Throughout evolutionary history, controlling our environment was necessary for survival. If a tribe couldn't control their food source or shelter, they were at risk. However, in the modern world, we no longer need to control everything to survive. Yet, the need for control still exists in our subconscious and has become a major cause of stress and anxiety. In an uncertain world, the harsh truth is that we cannot control everything. What others think of us, the weather, the global economy, or even our own health, these are all things outside of our control. Trying to change them only increases our sense of helplessness and stress. Understanding the distinction between what is within our control and what is not is a vital and core lesson of Stoic philosophy. This awareness not only helps us escape the cycle of worry and stress but also strengthens our inner resilience and self-mastery. When people understand the limits of control, they can shift from a passive mindset to an active one. From being dependent on external factors to mastering their own thoughts and actions. Clearly distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot is crucial for managing emotions and behavior. In everyday life, we are often swept up by events, people, and circumstances that we cannot change. But we spend a lot of time, energy, and emotion trying to control them. The reason for this lies in human nature. We always crave power and control. Power here does not just refer to control over others but also control over the environment, events, and circumstances. This is a natural reflex that humans have developed over thousands of years of evolution, where controlling the environment was a condition for survival. However, in the modern world, many factors lie beyond our control, and trying to control them only leads to disappointment and anxiety. A clear example of something beyond our control is traffic. Imagine you're driving to an important meeting. You've prepared thoroughly, left early, but suddenly you find yourself stuck in a severe traffic jam. Although you've done everything right, from planning ahead to adjusting your schedule, you still can't avoid being stuck. The feelings of worry and anger start rising within you, as you fear being late and how it might affect the meeting. What happened here? You've encountered a situation beyond your control, a traffic jam. Trying to change it is useless. However, if you can't control your emotions, you'll let this situation affect your mood and actions, possibly making you lose composure and act rashly when you finally arrive at the meeting. In this case, Stoic philosophy reminds us that it's not the traffic jam that causes negative emotions but rather how we react to it. If you realize that being stuck in traffic is beyond your control, you'll be able to let go of the anger and focus on what you can do, remain calm. Mentally prepare to handle the situation when you arrive, or even use the time to think about strategies for the meeting. By changing your perspective, you've turned the situation from an uncontrollable problem into an opportunity to control yourself. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, was one of the first to clearly develop this concept of distinction. He said, "What is ours? Our thoughts, emotions, and actions. What is not ours? Everything else." This emphasizes that everything beyond our thoughts, emotions, and actions does not belong to our control. He points out that worrying and stressing over things beyond our control is futile and only leads to suffering. For Epictetus, true freedom lies in self-control, especially over our minds and emotions. He believed that no one could take away this freedom unless we allowed it. In his book, The Discourses of Epictetus, he often emphasized that others may harm our bodies, take away our possessions, but they can never take away our power to control our thoughts and spirit. This idea is the foundation of inner peace in Stoic philosophy. An excellent example of this is the story of Epictetus when he was a slave. Despite living in oppressive conditions and enduring much physical suffering, he never let his external slavery affect his inner freedom. Epictetus learned to accept the things he couldn't change and focused on mastering his own thoughts and emotions. He understood that resisting external factors was not only useless but also caused suffering. As a result, even as a slave, he maintained his freedom of mind and spirit. Once you clearly understand the limits of control, you can save a great deal of energy and time. Instead of wasting time worrying or trying to change what cannot be changed, you can focus on what is within your reach, your actions, thoughts, and attitude. This brings mental liberation, allowing you to live more freely and achieve inner peace. The positive aspect of understanding the limits of control also lies in your ability to create changes in your own life. When you know exactly what is within your control, you become more proactive in making wise decisions. For example, if you recognize that you cannot control other people, you will stop trying to change them, freeing yourself from frustration. You'll focus on improving relationships, communicating more clearly and effectively, rather than forcing others to change according to your wishes. From this, Stoic philosophy encourages us not only to stop worrying about external factors but also to start using the power of what lies within our control. When we focus on self-improvement, from patience and wisdom to compassion, we not only change our perspective on life but also transform our lives. In the modern world, where everything moves at a rapid pace and people constantly face pressure and stress from work, family, and society, Stoic philosophy becomes particularly valuable. We often face situations that we cannot control, changes at work, economic instability, global crises, or even personal relationships. These factors easily lead people into prolonged anxiety and stress. However, by applying Stoic philosophy, we learn to accept what cannot be changed and focus on controlling ourselves in difficult situations. This not only reduces stress but also helps us develop resilience. Ready to face any challenge. Stoicism doesn't advise giving up on action, on the contrary. It encourages conscious action, based on an understanding of our limits and the world around us. Perhaps one of the hardest lessons to apply from Stoic philosophy is accepting that not everything in life is within our control. We live in a modern society where people are often encouraged to believe that with constant effort, they can achieve anything. However, reality is far more complex. External factors, things that are unpredictable or uncontrollable, always exist around us. And accepting this is not surrender, but a profound awakening to the nature of life. When we are young, we are often encouraged to believe that success and happiness depend on personal effort. But as Epictetus pointed out, true freedom is not doing everything you want, but being free from being bound by what you cannot control. This statement fundamentally changes how we perceive life. It teaches us that, although we cannot control everything, we can control how we respond to everything. My personal perspective is that self-control is the key to unlocking a meaningful and peaceful life. We cannot change external events, but we can change how we perceive and deal with them. When we understand our sphere of control, we become stronger and more independent, no longer easily swayed by external factors. Imagine you're in an important meeting, and things are not going as you expected. You might feel anxious, worry about how others perceive you, or become frustrated because you can't change the course of the meeting. But if you accept that others' reactions are beyond your control, and the only thing you can control is your own reaction and behavior, then you'll minimize stress and focus on improving the situation in the best way possible. Sometimes, freedom doesn't come from controlling everything around you, but from realizing that you don't need to control it all. As Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This statement embodies one of the core principles of Stoicism: no one can control your mind and thoughts except for you. Analyzing this quote, we realize that inner peace doesn't result from what happens outside, but from how we manage and control our internal thoughts and emotions. Even if the world around us is chaotic, even if others offend or criticize us, our peace remains intact unless we allow it to be disturbed. Marcus Aurelius also taught, the things you fear and avoid are not truly harmful, but the way you interpret them can harm you. Indeed, how we perceive life events is what leads to stress and unhappiness. If we see every failure as a sign of personal inadequacy, we'll cause ourselves suffering. But if we see failures as opportunities to learn and grow, we'll approach them with a different mindset. The imagery used by Marcus Aurelius is quite vivid: peace is a treasure within each person, and we have complete authority over who or what can take that peace away. If we don't allow external events to invade our minds, peace will always exist within. Marcus Aurelius's words are not just philosophical reflections but also practical tools to apply in everyday life. Every time we face challenges or insults from others, instead of reacting immediately, pause and ask yourself, does this truly threaten my inner peace? And if it does, can I stop it? The answer is often, yes. I can control my own thoughts and responses. There's a poem that says, layer upon layer, clouds rise like silver mountains. A bird tilts its tiny wings, shadows of the dusk fall. The image of vast, quiet nature, with endless clouds and a small bird tilting its wings in the evening sky, evokes a sense of humans standing before a vast universe that we cannot control or change. This serene and wild landscape can invoke a sense of impermanence and the insignificance of humans before nature. Like the clouds in the sky, many things in life are beyond our control. We cannot control time, nature, or the laws of the universe. But what we can control is how we live in this world. How we feel. And how we respond to the inevitable changes of life. The image of falling shadows of the dusk suggests humanity's acceptance of the inevitable laws of time and aging. Humans, whether we like it or not, must face aging, illness, and, ultimately, death. These are uncontrollable. But learning to accept them is what Stoicism promotes. By viewing life as a series of uncontrollable events, like clouds passing across the sky, we learn to let go of useless worries and find peace in accepting the present. This is where poetry and Stoic philosophy intersect, both guiding humans toward a state of mental calm and serenity. When we think about our inability to control everything, an important question often arises: doesn't recognizing that we can't control everything lead to passivity and giving up? This is a fundamental concern many people have when they hear about Stoic philosophy. They fear that if we can't control every aspect of life, then effort becomes meaningless. However, the answer is not so simple. Stoicism encourages us to recognize what is within our control and to focus all our energy on those things, rather than trying to control everything. If we can't control everything, does effort still matter? Let's begin with this question. If you can't control everything, not how others treat you, not the financial markets, not even the weather, does it still matter to make an effort? Many people might think that if they can't control the outcome, effort seems pointless. They might fall into a state of giving up, becoming passive and living with a mindset of letting life decide. This question actually opens up an opportunity to better understand Stoic philosophy. According to Stoicism, the meaning of life doesn't lie in controlling the final outcome but in how we act and respond to what happens. Effort is not about ensuring the result we desire but about ensuring we've done the best we can within our power. The value of effort lies not in the outcome, but in the process. If the process is more important than the outcome, does that mean all processes have equal value? We must remember that Stoic philosophy doesn't encourage complacency or easily accepting failure. Instead, it encourages us to act with full awareness and give our best effort, while not being attached to the outcome. This doesn't mean that all actions have the same value, but rather that the true value of action comes from the spirit we bring to it. A Stoic would not consider someone a failure just because they didn't achieve their desired goal. Rather, the true failure is the person who didn't act or didn't give their best effort. Thus, the value of the process lies in persistence, determination, and the spirit we put into it. Someone once asked me, if I've done my best but still failed, can I still feel satisfied? This is a significant challenge for those pursuing Stoic philosophy. In conventional thinking, we often judge ourselves based on the results we achieve. If the result doesn't meet our expectations, we easily feel disappointed, inadequate, or think our efforts were in vain. But Stoic philosophy offers a different approach. Satisfaction doesn't come from achieving the desired outcome, but from knowing that you did everything within your power. A Stoic finds peace even in failure, as long as they know they gave their best effort. This leads us to a new understanding of success and failure. Success isn't necessarily tied to the outcome but to the spirit throughout the process. But does this mean I'm lowering my expectations? When you are satisfied with effort rather than the outcome, some might think you're justifying failure or lowering your standards. But in reality, Stoic philosophy doesn't encourage abandoning ambition or lowering expectations. Instead, it helps you adjust your expectations so that you're not mentally hurt when things don't go as planned. Focusing on the process and giving your best effort is not about lowering standards, it's about adjusting those standards. Instead of judging yourself based on external results, you judge yourself based on what you can control: persistence, determination, and right action. This doesn't mean you give up on ambition, it means you learn to see success and failure differently, in a way that doesn't rely entirely on external factors. If failure is no longer something to fear, will life become too easy and without challenges? After accepting failure and understanding that it's not something to fear, does life become too easy and lose the necessary challenges that drive people to grow? If failure is no longer an obstacle, will people become complacent and stop striving? This is a reasonable question. But Stoic philosophy provides the opposite answer. Life is always full of challenges. And it's these challenges that give life meaning. The challenge isn't in the external obstacles we must worry about, but in the internal tests, how we face and handle difficult situations. How we control ourselves in adversity. Stoics never avoid challenges, instead, they welcome them as opportunities to test and train themselves. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The life of man is only worth living when it faces difficulties and challenges. See them as an opportunity to prove your strength." Thus, comfort is not the goal of Stoic philosophy. Instead, Stoics are always ready to face challenges. But they do not let the fear of failure or hardship disturb their determined and clear-minded spirit. Thus, even if failure is no longer something to fear, life is still full of challenges. And how we face those challenges is what matters most. Difficulties don't disappear when we accept failure. But we can face them with resilience and without fear. Stoic philosophy asserts that true freedom lies not in controlling everything around us, but in controlling ourselves. Marcus Aurelius once said, "No one can hurt you unless you allow it." This statement shows that spiritual and emotional harm only happens when we allow it to invade our minds. This philosophy applies not just to specific situations but as a way of life. It helps you face all difficulties with calmness and self-control. This doesn't mean you give up on action or stop trying, instead, it means you act wisely, focusing on what truly matters and what can be changed. Unexpected results, uncontrollable factors, and placing too much emphasis on success or failure can cause stress and anxiety. Does this mean that because we can't control the final outcome, we should give up ambition? No, but we should understand that ambition is just part of the journey. And understanding the limits of control will help us live a more balanced life. Another way to look at this issue is through the perspective of other philosophies and religions. For example, Taoism encourages people to live in harmony with nature and let go of the desire to change the flow of events. Buddhism also teaches that suffering arises from attachment and craving for things beyond our control. Both of these philosophies guide people towards acceptance and letting go. Not in the sense of giving up, but rather in acting within their abilities with awareness and mindfulness. The question then becomes, how can we set high goals while maintaining calmness in pursuing them? The answer lies in always remembering that the most important thing is not the final result but the effort and the way we respond to all developments along the way. Success and failure are only temporary states. If we cling too tightly to success, we can easily become complacent or arrogant. If we fear failure too much, we risk losing confidence and patience. Stoicism encourages us to live a dynamic, creative life while maintaining inner peace. This doesn't mean abandoning everything and becoming passive. On the contrary, it motivates us to take meaningful actions, with the understanding that the final result is not always entirely up to us. Once we've done our best, what remains is to accept and learn from whatever outcome arises. From the analysis and examples above, we can draw the conclusion that recognizing the limits of control in life is one of the most important mental skills. Not only does it help us face difficulties, but Stoic philosophy also opens a path to mental freedom, where we are no longer bound by external factors and things we cannot control. This philosophy advises us to focus all our energy on what we can control, our own actions, thoughts, and emotions. Once we master ourselves, nothing outside can hurt or disturb our lives. Conversely, when we focus too much on things that don't belong to us, things we can't change, we only drive ourselves into a cycle of stress, anxiety, and frustration. Another important lesson is to focus on the process rather than the final result. The journey towards achieving a goal is far more important than the outcome we receive. If we are too fixated on the result, we can easily lose direction and lose sight of the value of effort. But when we appreciate each step of the journey, success and failure become lighter. The mental freedom that Stoicism offers is not a release from action but a way of acting with awareness. without being influenced by what is beyond our control. Stoicism is not just a philosophy for contemplation but also a method for living that helps us face life's challenges by controlling ourselves. The principles of Stoic philosophy have endured for thousands of years and still hold practical value in the modern world. If you are seeking a life of peace and meaning, this philosophy could be the key to opening that door. Below are some practical tips for applying Stoicism to daily life. 1. Practice awareness of control. One of the first and most important steps in applying Stoic philosophy is practicing awareness of control. Every day, you may encounter hundreds of situations that make you anxious, angry, or frustrated. However, the first thing you should do is ask yourself, is this within my control? This is a simple but highly effective exercise in helping you distinguish between factors you can control and those you cannot. Remember, according to Stoic philosophy, there are only a few things you can control: your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Everything else, from others' behavior to the outcomes of events to external factors like the weather or the economy, is beyond your control. Once you understand this, you'll find it easier to let go of unnecessary worries and focus on what you can change. Practical exercise. Whenever you encounter a difficult situation, ask yourself, can I control the outcome of this situation? If the answer is no, focus on controlling how you react instead of worrying about the outcome. Keep a journal where you record situations in which you apply this method. After a period of practice, observe how you are able to reduce stress and anxiety. 2. Practice acceptance of what cannot be changed. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the ability to accept what cannot be changed. The world is full of uncertainties and instability that we have no control over. From unexpected events like job loss or illness to the loss of relationships, life is full of disappointments. Stoicism teaches that instead of resisting, you should learn to accept them calmly. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or passively resigning, but realizing that resisting what cannot be changed only increases suffering. Instead, you can find peace by accepting that some things are beyond your control. As Epictetus said, it's not events that disturb us, but how we interpret them. Practical exercise. Whenever you face a difficult situation, spend a few minutes asking yourself, can I change this? If not, focus on accepting reality and doing the best you can in that circumstance. Another effective way to practice acceptance is through meditating on the impermanence of life. Reminding yourself that everything can change and that you shouldn't cling to things outside your control. 3. Focus on action, not results. Stoic philosophy advises us to focus on the action at hand instead of obsessing over the final result. This means that, in any situation, rather than worrying about whether you'll succeed, you should focus on doing your best at that moment. The result may not be entirely in your hands, but your actions and efforts are always within your control. Imagine you're preparing for an important job interview. Instead of stressing about whether you'll get the job, focus on doing your best in the interview, prepare thoroughly, be confident, and answer questions clearly. Whatever the outcome, you won't regret having given it your all. Practical exercise. Before tackling any important task, remind yourself, the only thing I can control is my action. Then, direct all your energy toward executing it as well as you can. When facing failure, instead of blaming yourself, look back at the process and ask, what did I learn from this experience? This is the best way to turn failure into a learning opportunity. 4. Practice gratitude. An essential part of Stoic philosophy is learning to be grateful for what you have, rather than focusing on what you can't control or don't have. When you practice gratitude, you view life from a more positive perspective, reducing anxiety and fear of the unknown. Moreover, gratitude helps you appreciate the good things in life, from small daily joys to significant achievements. Stoics emphasize that even in the most challenging circumstances, there's always something to be grateful for. Viewing life positively and being thankful even when facing difficulties will help you maintain inner peace and make life richer. Practical exercise. Every evening before bed, Write down 3 things you're grateful for that day. These can be small things like a good cup of coffee or significant things like support from family and friends. When confronted with a difficulty, look for a positive aspect in the situation. This not only helps you maintain a positive mindset but also develops patience and resilience. 5. Confront the fear of failure. Failure is inevitable in life. But how we deal with it is what matters. Stoics teach that instead of fearing failure, we should accept it as a natural part of life and view it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Rather than seeing failure as an endpoint, consider it a step on the longer path of personal development. One of the key lessons of Stoicism is perseverance in the face of adversity. The fear of failure often stops us in our tracks. But when you learn to face failure and not let it shake your spirit, you'll become stronger and more resilient. Failures are not roadblocks but valuable lessons. Practical exercise. Whenever you feel afraid of a big challenge, stop and ask yourself, if I fail, what's the worst that can happen? Can I handle it? You'll realize that most of our fears are not truly worth worrying about. Train yourself to endure small failures by placing yourself in challenging situations daily. When you regularly overcome minor failures, you'll develop the patience and confidence to face bigger ones in life. 6. Seek inner peace. Inner peace doesn't come from controlling everything around you but from controlling your own thoughts and emotions. Stoic philosophy teaches that while we cannot control all external events, we can control our reactions to them. Inner peace is not a state free from problems or difficulties but the ability to face any situation without letting it disturb your soul. In modern life, we are often overwhelmed by work, relationships, and countless pressures. To find inner peace amid life's turmoil, we must practice the principles of Stoic philosophy, particularly emotional control, acceptance of what cannot be changed, and focusing on what can be done. Inner peace doesn't mean avoiding all difficulties but facing them with steadiness and calm. When you can control your emotions, thoughts, and actions, you won't be shaken by external events. Practical exercise. Practice meditation or breathing exercises daily to keep your mind calm and clear. Whenever you feel stressed or anxious, sit down, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Focusing on your breath will help you regain inner peace. Avoid reacting immediately when confronted with a difficult situation or conflict. Instead, pause, breathe deeply, and think before making a decision or acting. This will help you respond more wisely and reduce stress. 7. Adjust your expectations. Unrealistic expectations are often the primary cause of disappointment and stress. Stoics always emphasized the importance of setting reasonable expectations and not letting overly high expectations become a source of suffering. When we set unachievable expectations, we place ourselves in a difficult situation. And when those expectations aren't met, we easily feel disappointed. Instead, learn to set reasonable expectations that are in line with what you can control. This doesn't mean giving up on ambition but learning how to adjust your expectations to fit reality and the situation. Practical exercise. Before starting any task, sit down and assess whether your expectations are realistic. Ask yourself, is this within my control? What can I do to achieve this goal without relying too much on external factors? When the outcome doesn't meet your expectations, instead of feeling disappointed, go back and evaluate the process. Remember, what's important isn't just what you achieved but how you acted and the effort you put in. 8. Practice patience. Patience is an important virtue in Stoic philosophy. Life is full of obstacles and challenges, and things don't always go according to plan. Patience helps you avoid getting swept up in immediate difficulties and allows you to keep your eyes on the bigger picture and stay committed to your goals. Stoics understand that results don't come instantly, and it takes time for everything to unfold according to its natural course. Practical exercise. When facing delays or difficulties, remind yourself that everything needs time to grow. Stay calm, and don't let impatience throw you off course. Whenever you feel yourself losing patience, Focus on taking deep breaths and remind yourself that things are happening the way they are meant to. You can't control time, but you can control how you face it. 9. Cultivate courage. Courage is one of the core values in Stoic philosophy. Courage is not just about facing physical threats, but also the ability to confront the truth and act with integrity, even when facing difficulty. Courage means stepping out of your comfort zone and facing uncertainty, while also accepting that failure may occur. For the Stoics, failure isn't frightening. What's truly dangerous is avoidance and giving up. Practical exercise. Whenever you feel fear or hesitation in the face of a challenge, stop and ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And can I overcome it? When you view things objectively, you'll often find that most of our fears are not worth worrying about. Gradually practice doing things that make you feel scared or uncomfortable in a controlled way. For example, if you fear public speaking, start by speaking in front of a small group of friends. Over time, you'll build the courage to face bigger challenges. 10. Build a routine of living by Stoic principles. Finally, to truly apply Stoic philosophy to your daily life, you need to build a routine that revolves around its principles. This doesn't mean occasionally remembering the Stoic lessons when you face challenges, but living every day guided by its core values. This involves continuously questioning yourself, training your mind, and acting consciously in all circumstances. Stoics don't just practice their philosophy when things are going well, but also when facing adversity. They understand that life is a constant series of challenges, and maintaining a calm and clear mind is crucial to living a meaningful life. Practical exercise. Every morning when you wake up, take a few minutes to reflect on the day ahead and ask yourself, how will I apply Stoic philosophy in these situations? This helps prepare your mindset to face any challenge that arises during the day. Every evening, spend a few minutes reflecting on how your day went. Ask yourself, how did I react to situations? Is there anything I could have done better? This helps you continuously adjust and improve yourself. You might ask, why should I apply Stoic philosophy to my life? The simple answer is that it brings inner peace and helps you face all challenges without being shaken. Stoic philosophy is not just an abstract system of thought but a practical way of living that helps you master yourself and find freedom in a world full of chaos. Understanding the limits of control will help you save time and energy for things that really matter. When you're no longer obsessed with things you cannot change, you'll have more time to focus on improving yourself, building relationships, and doing meaningful work. Apply Stoic philosophy in your daily life. For example, in your work, instead of worrying about whether your boss will recognize your efforts, focus on doing your job well. In your relationships, instead of trying to change others, take control of your emotions and how you react to unexpected situations. Stoic philosophy doesn't encourage giving up on action. On the contrary, it encourages us to act consciously, carefully, and without being bound by the results. When you practice Stoic exercises every day, you'll gradually develop patience, gratitude, courage, and the ability to accept reality. These are key qualities that help you live a happy, successful, and peaceful life, no matter what challenges life throws your way. When you understand that not everything is within your control and focus only on what you can control, your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you will reduce stress and anxiety, and live a freer, more determined life. And when you master your thoughts and actions, you'll become stronger, more confident, and ready to face whatever difficulties life brings. Stoic philosophy will become a reliable companion, helping you remain calm and clear-headed in any situation. Start today. Each day, apply one principle of Stoicism to your life. From recognizing what's within your control to focusing on the process instead of the outcome, or confronting the fear of failure, you'll find that life becomes lighter and more meaningful.